Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers. We got your props talking about that, and we'll go over a CFL prop, and of course, we'll go over some PFL and UFC props. Get you ready for tonight and for the weekend. I'm Andy from WagerTalk.com. Welcome to Props and Parlays Today, being joined as always by my fellow prop master, Andrew McGinnis from WagerTalk.com. Andrew, hope this isn't the last game of the NHL season. We're hoping we get another game. Let's just jump right into it. I'll get us started here. Listen, if you just want to go with rinse and repeat, I can make my segment 21 seconds long. There's a guy who has yet to go over his shots total. That's Zach Hyman, 3.5 shots on goal. Cashed on him under. And we got Vladimir Tarasenko, who has yet to go under his shot total. It's still at 1.5. Shots on goal, I don't need to overthink this. It's Tarasenko over, it's Zach Hyman under, and these have been profitable every single game. So, if you've been playing them every single game, you could just say, hey, I'm done. I made my money. I'm not going to risk it today. I'm going to walk with the profits. Or you say, I'm playing with kind of some house money, so I'll sprinkle them on and see if we can keep the train rolling. But, shots on goal. I don't need to look at anything else. What do you think about the series?
Yeah, I mean, let's keep that train going, Andy, with the trends, because you know what? In a series like this, why not stick with some trends? Why not point out some more trends that are working? And again, this one here is a little bit more chalky than the ones that you just mentioned there. But the block shots market has just gotten more and more popular, and especially in the playoffs, you see more block shots. Well, Andy, we've now seen 7 straight games where Aaron Ekblad has gone over 1.5 block shots. And I was watching a video yesterday about the NHL prop betting market, and it was just talking about how, compared to other sports, maybe to do with the action, maybe to do with the, actual liability. But as you point out a lot of times as well, it takes them a long time to change anything. Like Ekblad should very well be at 2.5 over plus money at this point, Andy, but he remains at 1.5, and the number is minus 175. But if you go off on a large scale here, like 12 of his last 13 games, he has gone over 1.5 block shots. Last game, we were 5 minutes into the second period, and Ekblad had 2 block shots. And you want to know the best part about the block shot market? They can't stat correct you on something like that. It's that they can't take away a block shot. With a shot, maybe they could say, oh, it was deflected or somebody else touched it. They cannot. It would be wild if they could, oh, no, that was somebody else's shin pad. That wasn't your leg that blocked the shot. It was somebody else. So Ekblad, he's someone that I'm certainly looking at. Forsling under 1.5. Look, Forsling under 2.5 shots was the guy I was looking at. And, of course, this one actually did move. So then I was kind of hesitant, Andy. I was like, you know what? The number I was betting into is gone now. Even though it was 2.5 to the under, it was so profitable. I didn't mind the juice on it. But now you're getting under 1.5 at plus 115, plus 120. I really like that one. It's now 5 straight gains for him going under on that. The funny thing is, at the start of the series, on Props and Parlays and on Puck Time, I said that I thought it would have to be the depth pieces showing up for the Florida Panthers and just would be the star players for the Oilers. If you look at it, really the depth pieces haven't done too much for the Florida Panthers except for one guy only that we can really put a lot of credit to, and his name is Evan Rodriguez. He's gone over his 1.5 shots on goal in 7 of his last 8 games. Rodriguez right now actually ranks in the top 5 as far as the Conn Smythe Trophy. And Andy, I think this could be the second time in the history of the NHL where a player, a skater, not a goaltender, a player could win the Conn Smythe Trophy on the losing team. The odds for Bobrovsky were minus 500 before Game 5 to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. After the games he's had, he's pretty much out of the picture now. I believe it's either going to be Barkov or McDavid, and McDavid could very well win this thing, even if they don't win the Stanley Cup, which is very cool. Not really something you see in the NFL, of course, or the NBA with a player on a losing team winning it. But some interesting tidbits there. And yeah, man, the unders, Andy, are just the way to go for the most part here. I mean, there are a few overs we can even cash some tickets on, but Overall, the unders have been good to look at. I've kind of been looking at some overs for defensemen on the Oilers, like Bouchard with his shots. I feel like that they've really been putting a lot of emphasis on getting shots from the point. I think Ekholm has gone over his 1.5 shots at a pretty good amount. What are your thoughts on the power play points? Have you revisited that market, or have you stayed away from it here in the Cup Finals?
No, I really haven't. I've been looking at some guys just to not have assists. I know we talked about Reinhart. He was one. Let's see. On the assist market, there was somebody tonight that had a pretty good price on to not have an assist. It's Ryan Nugent Hopkins. It's only minus 140, and he doesn't have an assist in this series. And in fact, he only has one assist in the last 10 games. So, like, you know me, Andrew, I'm looking for things not to happen.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to watch games, but I'm hoping guys don't succeed. I'm hoping guys don't do their job. I'm the opposite of Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is like, do your job, and I'm like, no, do not do your job. So no, the assist market, the unders, that's kind of what I've been looking at with the unders. Haven't really looked at the power play points. But you brought up Forsling, and I got to point out Forsling. It's a very, very strange one. So coming into this series, he had gone over 1.5 shots on goal in 12 straight games. He's gone under every game. Hasn't gone over 1.5 shots in one game. This isn't 2.5 or 3.5 shots. It's 1.5. So he has 1 shot on goal in 4 games and 0. I just can't bring myself to take an under on 1.5. That's the thing. It's that 1.5 number. It just feels like, how do you not get 1.5 shots on goal? That's why I love Tarasenko. He gets, 2 shots. Like, he falls out of bed and gets 2 shots against this team. So, no, I haven't really looked at the power play points. Can't find an edge there. I also can't find an edge in saves. These guys, like, it feels like they're way over or way under on these games, so I can't really find markets with the saves unless there's an alt line. But it was like in NBA when I was saying, like, Kyrie Irving, if you're going to take his over, don't take his over posted line. Take his over like 30 points, because when he goes over, he has this huge explosion of a game. So if these guys are going over, they're going over by 5 or 6 shots. If they're going under, they're going under by several. So no, I really can't find too many holes in the market with the power play points. I do love your blocked shots one on Aaron Ekblad. On the flip side, Nico Mikola, he has 0 block shots in the last 3 games. He hasn't gone over in any in this series. It's a little juicy at minus 155. That was the only other block shots prop that I had in this one. I've not even done anything with team totals. I was using all the team total as parlay pieces throughout the entire NHL playoffs. Haven't used it one time in this series. I'm guessing you haven't found much value in those either in this series.
No, I haven't, Andy, but it's interesting. You look at this series as a whole so far, and every game but one, we've seen Florida go over the 2.5. Like, a lot of people liked Florida in the last game, and people that decided to take the 2.5 instead of the money line, they made some money in that one. You look at the 2.5 number, the Oilers win 5-3, you still cash a ticket. And I will admit, I was kind of a victim of thinking, back in Florida, where defense usually happens, they get the last change, they get the matchups, goaltending's better, they get to play their style. I thought the trend would continue where we would see lower scoring games in Florida, higher scoring games in Edmonton. And then we actually saw back-to-back overs and higher scoring games there. And you mentioned the saves prop. I couldn't agree with you more. It's so weird because I do like looking at it, and I plan on betting it more next regular season. But, something tells me that the save prop on Skinner is probably a good bet for tonight. It really is. I mean, let's be honest here. If they're going to move on and force a game 7, they're going to need another phenomenal effort out of Stuart Skinner. And they're probably going to need 3 or 4 goals to score. I think Florida, they played a good game last game. There was a ton of chances, but they definitely haven't played they probably haven't played their best game since game 3, so I think that the Stuart Skinner prop is probably one that's worth looking at, especially late in the game. The only thing is, though, Andy, the flip side is if you like overs, you kind of look at it this way too. Imagine if Edmonton's down. Imagine if Edmonton's down a goal or two and there's 10 minutes to go. They're throwing everything on the net. They pull the goalie, they throw things at the net. And that's kind of where things build up a little bit. But I'm seeing 25.5 for Bob. And I'm seeing 26.5 for Stuart Skinner. I think I got to go to the over for Stuart Skinner. I think he'll see a lot more rubber in this game. And I think Florida is known for, I mean, you pointed it out the best. Florida is one of those teams that they'll take a lot of shots that actually won't worry you. Like, how many of the Tarasenko shots on goal that you've cashed on have actually been dangerous goal scoring chances? Like, none of them. They're all just like shots. He's just doing you a favor. He's just like, here, Andy, I got you. Like, they're not really goal scoring opportunities. And the Oilers don't really do that. The Oilers mostly shoot with the intention to score. The Panthers shoot to like freeze the puck or get a line change, things like that. So I'd probably look more towards the over for Stuart Skinner and the under for Bobrovsky. But it does worry me that if the Oilers are down, you could probably get a large portion of those shots on goal on Bobrovsky late in the third period, Andy.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. And if you guys are watching, please hit that like button. You know, it helps us out a ton. Couple questions about the Tarasenko and the Hyman prop. So this is a great concept to go over. It's riding the streaks. And so we talked about how these streaks are pretty crazy, how Tarasenko's hit it 9 games in a row, and how Hyman is gone under in every single series. And they're saying we got to keep riding the streak. I have been betting these, you know, with my own money, and I've put them up as free plays and a couple of them as client plays. And of course, you're profitable. These have hit every single game, so you're profitable. So you got to figure out how your bankroll is and where it's at and where you are with these props. And you got to say, well, we've hit this streak, but at some point this streak comes to an end. What if both of them, like their streaks, come to an end tonight? At what point do you pull away and say, you know what, I made my money off these streaks and I'm good? For me, I'm not going to play them because I've hit with my own bankroll the last few games and I'm profitable on these streaks. So this has been a great run for Tarasenko in this series. This is a great run for Hyman. And I just want to walk away and say, I've got these profits. And if they both hit tonight and I'm off of it, that's fine. I just missed out on some winners, but I still have all of that profit that I made off of these. But these streaks don't go on forever. We talk about this in UFC. Not hardly anybody ends their career undefeated. So these undefeated fighters they're going to lose at some point, and these streaks are going to come to an end. If you're going to play them tonight, I would tread a little bit lightly and make sure if they both lose, you're still very happy with the money that you've made off of these profits. These are streaks that I expect. I tell people, you know, hey, I'd like to go 4-1, you know, on these streaks. Well, we've hit it. I mean, Tarasenko's 9 games in a row. It's due for regression here. So if you're going to play it, I would play it very light. But for me, staying away, I've got a loaded PFL card and UFC card. I've got some cross-sport parlays that I love. So I'm not going to risk it with these props tonight. I think these streaks have gone way, way past what expectations. Very happy with them, but I will be laying off of them for tonight. So once again, guys, if you guys could hit the like button. And I've been enjoying this on the videos, Andrew, where like sometimes we ask people to leave a comment, but it's like, well, what do you comment? So I've been asking people to leave a word, and they've been working the word into a gambling like connotation. So yesterday I said water, and they did such a great job of like, you know, trying to keep my head above water and things like that. So we got to pick a word today. Let's go with rock. In the comment section, just leave the word rock. It helps the algorithm out, and see if you can work it into a gambling phrase. The word rock. That's your job for the day. Your homework is leave that in the comment section.
Well, hopefully nobody says rock bottom. Hopefully we don't hear that one.
Yes. Andy, your props have been rock bottom this week. Delete, new word. So Andrew, tell everyone what you have up at WagerTalk. What do you got going for this weekend?
So, Andy, as you know, I mean, I'm fully invested in CFL. Higher volume. If I get an edge, if I can get a good number, I'm attacking it. So throughout the week, I've been releasing a lot of 1% and 2% plays. MLB, WNBA. Now that the NBA is over, just those two sports mainly. And then we're really firing on all cylinders with 3, 4, and 5% plays on the weekend in the CFL. So got a 5% play going on Saturday. We've got a money line parlay going this weekend as well. We got one UFC play we like. So it's going to be a great weekend. And I definitely recommend people go and check out the 3-day all access pass. If you want to get longer term, of course, we do have that great deal. You buy July, you get the rest of June for free on the house, and you can get all the best bets, all the big plays we have going this weekend. But off to a profitable start here to the CFL season in 2024. 3 straight profitable seasons, and 11-3 run with the 5% plays long term. So, guys, join me tomorrow on Saturday with the 5% play.
We got a 5% play in the PFL that is up tonight, and that is a PFL and UFC pack. We've already got 3 plays locked and loaded for PFL. We have a play for UFC that is in there as well. So already you got 4 plays in there. 5-1 in the PFL this season. Our only loss was when Sadabusi broke his thumb 1 minute into the fight, putting his hand down. That's our only loss that we've had. So we look to continue that streak tonight. UFC has been great. We're number 1 the last 11 weeks in MMA. Encourage everyone to grab that over at WagerTalk.com. Andrew, you mentioned CFL. So last year, no secret, I used certain teams as parlay pieces just on the money line every single week. The Argonauts were the MVP for me last year. Are the Alouettes going to be the money line MVP this year? Because I haven't used any of them because I want to kind of figure out what's going on there. Maybe they are. Maybe the Alouettes are our money line parlay piece MVP. I know you got a CFL prop. Why don't you give that to us? But I don't know. We talk about parlays on this show. I have not dipped my toes in the water in the CFL parlays. I think this year is completely different from last year. What are your thoughts on trying to use some of these teams as money line parlay pieces? Pretty tough running so far.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, Andy, and I don't blame you at all for hanging on a few weeks. Like, I really think it's a good idea for checking things out a little bit because you're going to see upsets. Like, for example, look what happened to Ottawa, right? Ottawa outright upsets the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in week 2, and they just get completely embarrassed in week 3. So did Winnipeg just look really bad and they're finally on the downward, or was Ottawa good and Montreal's that good yesterday? I'm not sure, but moneyline parlays and money using CFL teams as parlay leg are a really good idea because rebuilds take a long time in the CFL, and it's only a 9-man league, so it's really easy to just isolate which team is going to suffer. And sometimes you can find a matchup that you really like, whether it's a team off a bye, whether it's an East team traveling west, a West team traveling to the East. But the biggest thing for Montreal, Andy, is their defense. They cause like 3 turnovers a game. Like, imagine being the quarterback on that team. Like, I've been critical of their quarterback to people before, but I don't really know how I can anymore because every time he gets the ball, he's on like the opponent's 30-yard line. Like, he is set up for success in such a big way in every game he plays in because his defense does so well. So Montreal, they're certainly the top of the league right now, I would say. Another team that is said to be at the top of the league. Let's take a look at an under. We talk about unders in prop betting. People love to bet overs. Unders are profitable as well here, guys. We're going to look at under 300.5 passing yards for Vernon Adams Jr. Friday Night Football, the BC Lions. It's been a rough start to the season for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They are 0-2. They've lost to Ottawa, and they have lost to Montreal. But I take a look at this game, and I actually think we're going to see some defense. I think Winnipeg is also going to run the ball and try and keep BC's offense off the field as much as they possibly can. You take a look at the numbers for 2023. Winnipeg was the number 1 team as far as defending the pass in the entire league. I expect BC to run the ball a lot more because of that. I think they will utilize their run game. Take a look at 2024, the current numbers. Winnipeg, the number 2 passing defense. So despite being winless on the year, they still have one of the best passing defenses out there. And because of the name, because of who he is, and because of the team he plays on, Vernon Adams Jr., big play VA, they call him, number is 300 yards. I mean, it takes a lot. So far, he's 1-1 to this prop. He did have a big game in week 1, actually, in their loss. But I think the under is the best bet here. We're 2-0 on CFL plays. We're going to try and give out 1 CFL prop at least every Friday on the show all summer long. Try and get on a big streak. And this time, We're taking our first under, Andy, under 300 yards. Vernon Adams Jr. on the BC Lions.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, that's great, man. 2-0. All you need to do is go undefeated the rest of the season on your CFL player props here on the show, Andrew. No pressure. So I'll take a look at some UFC props here. I have to mention Brinson Ribeiro and Magomed Gadzhimagomedov. So Gadzhimagomedov is Andrew, this guy's an absolute fraud. And when I say fraud, I mean he's fought for some organizations that don't appear to have existed. Like just flat out lied about fights. So he was on Contender Series. He won, but he didn't look great. So he's facing Brinson Ribeiro, who none of his fights get out of the first round. They call him, he's a glass cannon, where he either knocks you out or he gets knocked out. I actually liked over 1.5 at plus 160. This Gadzhimagomedov, like he's not that good. I don't think he knocks out Ribeiro, but he does like to clinch and hold guys up against the fence, and I think he'll wrestle. And I think this sneakily goes over this total as Magomed dirties up, but I just don't think he's good enough to finish. So if you're looking for a little prop to sprinkle, that would be a good one as well. And then I brought it up the other day. I just still can't believe that Pavlovich and Volkov, you can get under 1.5 at like minus 166. I thought this would be like minus 250. Pavlovich has never been out of the first round in the UFC. Every single one of his fights has ended in the first round, and he's got this one-shot knockout power. But Volkov has got these long legs and arms that if he gets Pavlovich to the ground, it's Volkov all day, either by submission or by ground and pound. I look at this and I go, I don't see this fight going very long. So I'll be happy to take the under. It was minus 154 earlier this week. I'm stunned as it moved up more. So I will take that one. And then I also like the Robert Whittaker and Alaskarov fight to go over. Maybe it ends in round 4 or 5, but I would take this to start round 3, maybe even to start round 4. I don't see why Whittaker would push the pace early. Alaskarov is taking a 5-round fight in Saudi Arabia on short notice. Alaskarov was trying to game plan for a 3-round fight against lesser competition. Whittaker is not going to put himself in harm's way. He's going to be cautious the first couple rounds. It's going to be jab and move, tire out Alaskarov, make sure you get out of the danger where Alaskarov can knock him out. I think Whittaker wins it late, but I think you can take this to start round 3 or to start round 4. I would not take it to go the distance because it wouldn't surprise me in the slide if Alaskarov gets tired and Whittaker just kind of, finishes him just kind of because he's tired. But I think you're getting some really, really good money on that one. So, Andrew, you got any thoughts on UFC this weekend? I love these cards because they start in the middle of the day. It's like starts at like noon my time. You don't have to stay up till 1 a.m. like I do tonight for PFL. Anything you got your eye on in UFC this weekend?
Well, I might like it for a different reason because I get to watch the CFL game on Saturday night. So I'm probably the only one in the world that's saying that. I agree with you with the Pavlovich and Volkov under. You try and play contrarian a little bit, Andy. Like, I don't know about you. Sometimes you try and put yourself in a position to think how could this fight go over? And I'm like, no, it won't. I can't find a reason it will. It's going to be absolute chaos. I don't see these guys, being hesitant whatsoever. I do think Whittaker wins by points. That's one that I had circled. I know this isn't a prop per se, I guess, but I just really like Daniel Rodriguez, Andy. I don't know what the whole deal is with this matchup. I mean, the whole press conference stuff, talking about making weight here. I mean, the kind of the price we've seen fluctuate up and down. I really like this number. I will admit I'm not a huge underdog player in the UFC. I'll usually play like plus 110s, plus 120s, but current number is plus 170 for Daniel Rodriguez. That's one bet that I've already made for this weekend.
So this is one of the more entertaining fights. I've been following it because I actually really like Gastelum. So this fight was supposed to be at 170. Gastelum shows up and says, I may not even make 180. He's just like, I don't think I'm going to make 170 or 180. So Daniel Rodriguez, who by the way is almost 40, he's flown to Saudi Arabia. His opponent is like 10 pounds overweight. I don't know how Gastelum pulled this off. He talked Daniel Rodriguez into fighting at 185. So Gastelum is now comfortable at this weight. Daniel Rodriguez has to put on weight. And Daniel Rodriguez put out a video last night in his hotel room. He ordered room service. He's eating a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke. And the caption says, Kelvin Gastelum weight cutting plan. Like, absolute just throwing darts at this guy. But
Wow.
I'm not really I'm not really sure I would have bet on Rodriguez, who's pounding burgers and fries the night before. But this fight should be hilarious. Like, this is a great, like, underlying stories fight with that one. So yeah,
to me, really for the record, this is me. It's me betting the number. It's me betting that, I'm not saying this deserves to be a pick 'em by any means. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he deserves to be plus 105. I just mean that at this price. But I mean, you describing him eating a cheeseburger, Andy, doesn't exactly help me like this athlete to go out there and perform well for me. But just as far as the whole situation, though, I think he's prepared, and I think think about it. A lot of fighters actually wouldn't take that. I understand you're saying where he traveled to, but some fighters would say, no, make weight, man, be professional. But I think he wants to go out there and compete.
I'm guessing he's getting a little bit more, like when fighters miss weight, they lose a chunk of their purse. Like it goes to the other fighter. I'm guessing UFC is really hooking up Daniel Rodriguez. Like there's missing weight, and then there's like 15 pounds missing weight, and the fight still goes on. So I'm guessing Daniel Rodriguez is getting paid handsomely to keep this fight on, regardless of the outcome. So maybe he's just like, screw it. I'm having a burger. Yeah, throw on the fries. Yeah, I'll take a Coca-Cola with that one. Absolutely. Put it on my tab. So,
Andy, for what it's worth, too, I look at the prelims yesterday. I think, I know you do videos on like every fight in the card, but I actually think we might see some fireworks on this card. We always talk about this. It seems to me like the pay-per-views have been a lot less exciting than the fight nights lately. Like the fight nights are where guys are just like absolutely trying to end fights early, earn another next fight, try and prove themselves. And the guys that are on the pay-per-views, they are someone already. They don't need to prove who they are. So they're like trying to like stick and move, fight for points, fight for a decision. And I don't know. I think that there's a few fights that I've looked at to start. I think we could see like 3 of the first 4 fights of this weekend on Saturday end without the judges having a hand in the decision. So just something worth mentioning for people out there. I think we could see some fireworks this weekend.
I hope you're right. I hate that I have to pay for UFC pay-per-views, and then the free prelims are better than the snooze fest of some of those cards I have to pay for. It drives me absolutely nuts. So, all right, that's going to do it for us for Props and Parlays today. Andrew's got a 5% in the CFL. Absolutely got to get that locked and loaded. Before that, let's cash the 5% in the PFL tonight. That is over my page at WagerTalk.com. Should be a really, really good week. As always, practice good bankroll management. Make sure that we're not going all in on plays, and make sure we're not betting on sports like baseball that we don't really know that well, but we're putting on action just because there's nothing else on. You guys know how it goes. And remember, the password or the code word for the comments section is rock. Go and throw it in the comments section and hit the like button. Good luck on all your plays, and we will see you every Monday on Props and Parlays Today.